Ada suara orang nggak, Bang? Orang sambil live ya.
Together. Say things enough and the universe will give it to you. These are two teams that have said a lot of things. Can their actions reflect into a victory? Will Vamos and Malaysia finally get their international win against North America and BTK? Welcome to the very last day of our Swiss stages. And yeah, you know the first match coming up. And before anything else, my name is Renmar Santa Cruz, joined here by Leo and Gideon Q. Gentlemen, what a journey. And finally, we are gonna end our Swiss stage portion of M6 here.
3 final slots in the knockouts, 3 more heartbreaks for powerful teams from all around the world. And boy, oh boy, am I happy that it's down to a best of 3, not a best of 1.
I mean, it's going to shake things up, but most importantly, I think for these teams, there's no doubt that they are strong at what they do. Very strong personalities, clear indication of how they want to play the game on a technical level. But as you mentioned, Renmar, manifestation, why did it have to come down to this?
I mean, it's the best way to end our Swiss stages. Before anything else, of course, we want you to experience the thrill of gaming in real life at Kidia's Gaming and Esports District, where every detail is a celebration of play and entertainment. Go online and search at Kidia Gaming. You know the first match that we're going to have today, but first we want to begin by saying thank you, of course, to S2G, the champions of Turkey, KBG, the team that reigned over the China qualifier, and of course, Aurora MLBB, the runner-ups of MPL Philippines Season 14. They were eliminated yesterday. We want to thank the 3 of you and all the teams that have participated in the M6 World Championship for showing up with your best. Today we have 6 teams fighting for the last 3 slots. It is going to be, I feel like intense isn't enough to say it. Spicy, hot, surprising maybe?
Manifested would probably be the best one, honestly. There is so much history between these 2 teams. The final 3 to compete for the knockout puzzle, and honestly, all of these teams had an opportunity to actually avoid being in this position as well.
Watching how the Swiss unfolded and how the meta evolved in the past week, it definitely makes me think that even underdogs such as Twisted Minds, CFU from the rising tides of MPL KH, maybe they can do it. Something tells me that we're here to witness, as we 3 specifically have witnessed in the past few days, 3-game best of 3s. I think it's gonna go the distance.
I hope we get that again. RRQ Hoshi, Fnatic Onyx Philippines, Fuzzy Esports, Team Spirit, and NIP Flash await for either BTK, Vamos, Team Liquid ID, Twisted Minds, Selangor Red Giants, and CFU Gaming. There I say, gentlemen, this was the most surprising start to an international MLBB tournament we've ever had.
I definitely think that it's, helped the world kind of understand the level of play and how competitive MLBB truly is. With the brackets already laid out for you here on the Swiss stage format, at the very least, it is not a best of 1 anymore to determine their fates.
Never in the history of the M Series have we witnessed a journey like this. One, given that the fact that it's a Swiss stage, the first time we're trying the format ever. And second is, you can follow any team that made it to the knockouts and see how they rose. You can follow any team that fell out and see how they declined and how they fell out. And down to the very last day here today in the 2-2 bracket, you'll see that each of these teams are worthy of rooting for. Each of these teams have a story to tell, and you can flip a coin and say, you know what, whatever comes up, heads or tails, underdog or tournament favorite, whatever comes out is what is deserving of that final piece in the knockout puzzle.
Again, I'll repeat something I've said before. If this is your first time ever joining us for MLBB Esports for our World Championship, welcome. We're very happy that you're here, but everything that we've had so far leading to this final Swiss stage day has been an absolute epic, closer than ever, achieving the promise of being greater than ever. BTK versus Vamos as our
mana di PC ya, di laptop ya nontonnya ya. Kalau di laptop mah sama aja. Kalau di HP jadi beda, jadi di short.
Leo, let's start with you. Which one do you think has the highest chance of delivering an upset?
I want to see Le Champion versus Le Champion.
Le Champion.
ID going up against Twisted Minds. Throughout the Swiss, we've seen how MPL MENA through the years have evolved to become a true threat under the tutelage of a Filipino coaching staff, Coach Dali, Coach Lyric, Twisted Minds have defied the odds, and I think they should give TLID a run for their money.
I don't think so. I'm still on my high horse with the Calvary for TLID to take that away. But honestly, I got more things to stress out about. I got Vamos up against BTK, a very historic match here, and SRG against CFU. And looking at their journey, specifically CFU, it feels a lot more deserving that they have steadily gotten to the level where, hey, we had hard opponents, but now this is going to be one of the hardest ones yet, and this is for a qualification spot.
Yeah, going into
Nanti
this
malam
day,
mau Left 4 Dead lagi
trying
nggak?
to get
Nanti
the
malam?
vibe of the community. A lot of them are saying
Bebas dong.
this is probably going to be a left side of the
Ini kalau
schedule
cepet
favorite
mah
day.
langsung Left 4 Dead aja nggak sih?
2, 4, 6 games.
Kalau kayak kemarin kan jam 7 juga udah beres nggak sih?
Yeah, the way Leo
Si
put it
Diasnya
here,
ada aja tapi jam 7.
Iya, kemarin teh aya si Diasna kan kurang main mulai kan.
Oh.
Makanya saya tak kumpul terus di grup, ditungguan terus main 4 menit.
Ayo tuh.
Against Aurora, Liquid ID favors
Sugante udah nggak ada. Perasaan ngechat dulu. Perasaan nggak ada. Atau orang salah lihat. Hari ini ada timnas putri juga ya AFF ya. AFF.
The cavalry would run him over, but I'm just saying it's not impossible.
I don't think it's impossible as well, but at the same time, with how things have been playing out here at the Swiss stage, there has been a level of evolution when it comes down not only to the meta, but more importantly, with the way that people are going to be drafting blue and red side. It's now starting to even out. It's not blue side heavy or red side heavy anymore.
And teams all across the Swiss stage, especially these last 6, they're starting to come up with more creative approaches to handling the best of 3s after we went best
Clash of
of 1.
Thirds.
But as I mentioned in the intro, it's time to walk the talk because this is the matchup that a lot of teams have been waiting for. The clash of servers, NA versus MY. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. It's part of the storyline. Easy server versus drama server, baby.
It's the best. It's truly the best. I can't wait for this match to start.
And now let's hear from the stars of this story.
Question. I think not have question, but you need to take back what you say before. About what? About Malaysia.
Easy server?
Yeah.
No, still.
Still easy server.
Easy server.
We've joked about it. It was what was Aiden himself that he mentioned. It all started as a joke, but say things enough, and it's bound to happen and come true.
I mean, the netizens have taken it so much further than it needed to be, but in a kind of ironic way at the same time. As much as there's toxicity and a lot of heat when it comes down to these two particular teams, we need to cut back to
Right,
why
right,
it even began in the first place.
Udah main
Denial
apaan?
of going to knockouts
M6.
happening multiple times.
Belum
And
lagi
most importantly, I think the most
bahas-bahas
notable
doang.
is M5. Team Vamos under the name of Homeboys looking to get that qualification spot. Denied by, at the time, outplayed, all thanks to a Hilda with a Petrify to seal the deal.
Dibahas-bahas.
Is it that here in Kuala Lumpur, for M6, it's Chibi who confronts Bobazain and saying, hey, is it still easy server? What do you think? And with a smile on his face, bro says, yeah, still easy server. So with that said, it's clear that these two teams, these two figures, are polarizing figures, right? But I think that's the best kind of figure to root for. I'm torn. I'm a big fan of Vamos' on-stage antics. Their unorthodox gameplay, and of course what BTK stands for, right? Being the heart and soul of NAMOBB. So, with that said, with the grudge on the line, I think it's not fair to say. I don't think it's so easy to erase that, you know, just to write them off.
Yeah, these two have perfectly described the story of Vamos and BTK.
Who's gonna make it out? Who's gonna make it out?
Yeah, I remember that group. It was Geek Fam, Deus Volt, they're debuting Kid Bomba, Homeboys, and the TOB, the Hawaii Brothers.
Oh, man.
And they were already, I mean, the Malaysian team was already positioned
far, so
to
good.
get out of that group itself, already beating the toughest competitor in that group just to get knocked down by the Ohio Brothers. And I think honestly, I love the fact that now the rivalry is between BTK and as well as Vamos. Because again, if this was like an SRG versus BTK, I don't think SRG would be as vocal. And I think this is the perfect anti-hero up against the Bloodthirsty Kings who have such strong personalities to make this matchup shine.
It's like the equivalent of watching the Joker and Lex Luthor duke it out, or any of the greatest villains in all of heroic comic books and cinema go up against each other. That's what it feels like.
In all of fiction, in all of reality, and this is the reality we live in. Interesting choice of words. Anti-hero, villain, whatever you say, they are our villains. They are our figures, and you could not imagine an MLBB esports without the likes of Vamos, without the likes of BTK. Like, they made the past 3-6 months of what? Drama servers, easy server, worth watching. And even if you're not an MLBB esports diehard fan, you've heard of these names, you've heard of these stories.
In this clash, we are poised to see Mobazane potentially walk the talk while Chibi seeks to reclaim Malaysia's honor in the international stage against this specific team to settle the score. It hasn't just been a year-long grudge. Go back to the M4 World Championship, and that's where we saw the Valley Dudes take down Todak in the M4 knockout stages, sweeping them. So this goes way back. For MLBB's BTK, MLBB NA's BTK, they aim to make America MLBB great again, while the hometown villains, their hometown villains, our hometown villains in Vamos. Gentlemen, I hate to do this, but in a matchup like this, I think it's time. Predictions?
Emang sengaja dikecilin suara M6 ya? Sengaja. Kurang gede ya? Emang sengaja.
Now the real question is how long is this series going to go? I have to say, I'm going to go a 2-1.
There we go.
2-1 going in for Vamos.
Leo?
I like how you asked as if we had a choice. But I'm ready.
Mana nonton di PC atau di laptop atau di HP ya? Di HP masuk ke shorts
So I'm going to be the kicker here.
Oh yeah.
All right. I mean, there is a little bit of a slowly bubbling rivalry between our regions as well. So this is my score. And that's my prediction.
Oh,
He got creative with it. He did some arts and crafts. folks.
He did a little bit of arts and crafts. So you guys are following with the current ratings of the guest coins. Even when we're looking at the prediction, well, not quote unquote, the ratios of guest coins you could be earning here today on M6. It looks like, BTK better run so far.
Yeah. So, real quick, start with Gideon first. Other than the fact that you're Malaysian, I know you're also a respectable analyst. What do you think Team Vamos will bring to the table here to take down BTK?
Well, I think they're not really going to change too much of their strategies. I definitely think they're going to be very heavily centralized around the early game. Yesterday, we got to see an almost perfect polish of what that early game should look like, and honestly, bring back some of the signature picks like Benedetta, high damage side lane junglers to deal with. Hey, we want to scale. We can play from early, mid to late on that Bruno. No problem. Even a Moskov, no problem. As long as we close that distance and start to snowball early.
Kenapa?
Kata barcode na katutupan ku foto mana.
Warlord.
I would say Valentina. Valentina actually is getting really good stats from day 2 onwards here to Swiss stage. So I'm going to lean in with the numbers as well.
All right, Leo, what about you? What BTK?
I've said it before, I'll say it again. No one collapses on a team fight like BTK. And truth be told, the last time they were on stage when they faced off against the Burmese powerhouse in Falcon Esports, that was the worst they've looked. And I'll tell you now, whether it be the draft, whether it be gameplay, whether it be something internal that they're working on, I think the worst is behind us. Something tells me in the past 48 hours, BTK have figured it out, and they may have packed a little bit of heat. I think they got a little bit of the... Got what the Spanish of it was.
El Spicy.
El Spiso, yeah. Because
sama ya, orang kan pengen tahu kalau misalkan mau biar nggak di iniin gimana ya caranya biar nggak di delay si streamnya. Yes.
So, hey, if you're gonna show us something as hot as the
biar nggak di delay gimana ya streamnya
on Flight Chicken, so be it. I think that's what they need.
Itu orang dari kemarin nyari-nyari selalu nggak ada.
Yeah, let's see if Bloodthirsty Kings will bring out the spicy picante into the draft against Team Vamos. And, you know, I agree with you. It's the team fighting for BTK. And again, I will hammer down my idea for this team that they just know how to get into the heads of their opponents. But they're going up against Roger Recall, a man who is known for getting into the heads of his opponents.
I mean, it's Team Vamos from Malaysia.
Jangan lupa di-tap-tap ya guys ya.
Zorn,
Kalau
Warlord,
sih bisa
GB,
di-tap-tap
and
guys.
Smooth. As much as
Iya,
you guys are
bisa tapi
talking about
nggak
BT,
ngaruh.
how they
Apa lagi
collapse,
bisa
there's a lot of setup and priority that needs to be done. And I think when we're
si
looking
Bias
at Team
kemana
Vamos,
aja?
one player that I
Keluar
have to
lagi
make a
dia. Aku mau
comparison
nanya nih,
to
gimana
Fried
caranya
Chicken
biar nggak
has to
di-delay?
be Smooth. Both are known to have pretty good laning phases. Both are extremely intelligent with the way that they macro around the map, with fast rotations, and most importantly, since Smooth technically has never qualified for a knockout stage in any M series. They
Settingan YouTube
previously
studio
tried
nya
with
sebelum
Team
live
SMG,
pilih
and
low
now with
latency
Team
jangan
Vamos,
lupa.
I think this
Itu loh
has
harus
so
low
much more
latency ya.
emotional impact
Oke,
for
oke,
him as
oke.
well.
I remember
Dia orang
Lord
pilih low
Smooth wearing
latency
the
lah.
black and orange, and I could have
Soalnya
sworn
kayak
there was a
lumayan
star
gitu
in
loh,
this young
delaynya
man.
kayak
And
kerasa.
despite how rocky Team Vamos' run in the Swiss was in the first
Low
couple rounds,
latency ya.
he just looks so stable. I think that's his main strength, is despite what everyone else on the squad is doing, even their coaching staff, Lord Smooth is just chill.
Now let's look at the head-to-head on your screens. We talked about the EXP
Tuh
laners of
kegedean,
Fried
Bias.
Chicken
Orang
and
teh
Smooth.
makanya
They have
dikecilin YouTube nanti tekadengnya sih Imam aja.
responsibility of making sure that their
Tunggu ya orang lihat
junglers,
Discord orang.
let's
Perasaan
say
orang
for
di Discord
BTK
nggak
and
nge-lowin
GP
suara si Imam ya.
for Team Vamos are set up well.
Enggak tuh,
Right now,
si
it
Imam
looks like
kenceng
GP
cok di orang.
is
Bisa
getting a
volume.
little bit of a
Lain 150
better
kalau
lead
tidak.
over Mobazane in terms of the stats.
Was he looking for a burger? What was that?
No, he was looking for the other half of his heart.
Semua orang nggak di-low.
How come GP brought it down so quickly? I think Mobazane would have tried to connect that. You know?
No. Zane is locked in. I know that at least for the NA teams, it's no fun and games once they're up on that stage. They have to chill. They have to make sure that they hit hard and hit fast.
By the way, there's a new game mode coming up. Redeem code is MLBB open. Use the QR code on your screen. Scan it with your smart devices and join in on the fun. You know, there was something mentioned earlier in the panel about setup. BTK.
Kalau misalkan mau di chatnya bisa ngapain aja sih? Kan orang-orang bisa ngapain gitu.
And they need to set that up before acting.
Which is why exactly Falcon Esports' strike to Hoon
Kayak bisa bikin sesuatu, oh ini polling. Oh cuma bisa polling doang ya?
Yeah, I totally agree. They have to be able to set up mid first. Set up those duo, Shark and Hoon, so that their side lanes and even Mobazane have less to think about. More so now that there is a huge target on Mobazane's Frederick.
Kenapa?
And again, they are going up against the team that
Wah di band.
know how to set up first.
Oh mana pergi dulu ya udah.
Let's see who can actually do
Oke,
that.
oke.
The draft Vamos already setting the mood. They're saying we are respecting the low yield.
Kalau mana nggak ada, orang mau
Mobazane, as Leo mentioned, and there goes
mau
the
mute.
Bruno of Zia.
Ya udah Mam, orang mute ya Mam ya. Kalau mana ini.
Yeah, this is one of the faster drafts that we've seen all season. I mean, Swiss rounds have been
Bruno.
taking their time, right? To maybe innovate, talk about
JulH
things,
ya,
concepts,
dia band JulH ya.
blowing it out
Nggak
of the
aja,
water
nggak
really
band
quick,
panik.
and it's all tended to
Coach,
signature.
kenapa Rodrigo? Kamu kemana? Aku kemarin main Left 4 Dead, kamu nggak ada. Tipu daya emang. Jangan kebanyakan tipu daya nggak sih at least. Rodrigo. Hilda.
Valentina as well.
Cowok.
God, what has happened because of the targeting of
Cowok.
onto the jungle
Cowok.
possible picks? All of these are open. Do we see Blue Yo? Does Chibi do that?
I don't think it's too strong of an opening right now with so many picks still available. I think the Cho is probably the most stable one for Vamos.
Cowok.
On the other hand, I think it's a good gambit. You're forcing Mobazane to pick something else.
There's a lot of questions up in the air right now. You're right there with the two assassin bands. It opened up a huge field of picks as it is Blue Yo
Suyo
for
dong.
Vamos. BTK can steal
Cowok
away
nggak
the
sih?
Cho here.
Cowok. Nah itu loh.
Need to rush for
Cho
their
Zuxin.
top offensive, that's what they're thinking of. And there's the
Ah.
Juxin falling to the hands of Hoon.
My God, not
Chow
even 5
Zuxin
seconds
kiri
after
bisa
the
ambil Hilda.
They know exactly what they
Susah.
want to do against Vamos, and I expect nothing less from this team.
Yves juga
Now,
masih ada
Vamos,
deh.
on the other hand, previously in their
Yves
matchup,
Matilda
yesterday,
kayak mau Yves
a lot of
Patrick.
especially with high damage
Patrick tapi
side
susah
laners,
lawan
right?
Chow.
There's a lot to come
Ah,
out.
Hampura
First,
coach.
open up the
Nggak
map.
ada Hampura nggak sih?
Where does your jungler start? Because you want
Parah
to
banget.
into a lane where you can actually enable the game.
Jangan lupa like dulu nggak sih, Rodrigo? Kamu nggak nge-like, nggak nge-subs, emang. Datang doang dia di sini.
What are they going to put in the center of the map here for Vamos? Warlord lived up to his name yesterday as a Valentina. Are they going to lock that in? No,
Cecil.
it's Sicilian for the mid, and they go
Glue.
for Glue in the EXP. The Sicilian
Glue
is a
boleh
little
sih,
bit of a
udah nggak ada
signal effect,
Faramis,
going
nggak ada
for a little bit
Vexana.
of a later power spike, while Glue somewhat can be the bridge to that. If ever things don't go that well in the early, you have the EXP later to hold your early well to
Alpha.
minimize the damage. And as expected, Alpha for BTK.
It is a safe pick, but just the same, you're not threatening Warlord
Kayak
or
susah dah
Sicilian.
Alpha di sini.
Nothing in BTK's lineup says so far we can reach the late game.
Aku subscribe, coach.
There's still a
Apa?
couple more picks left in the
Subscribe
second phase.
gitu, bro.
Just make this go.
Kenapa subscribe gitu? Nggak subscribe kah atau
Here's a fun fact on your
Tipo
screen right
tuh.
now. Before every match, 2v2
Serem. Subscribe
to
dari
songs
bangsa.
to get in the zone. Apata. You guys actually like this song?
I do. I don't know. The first time I heard it, I thought it was just AI collaborations to make sure they put all the best.
Kesini nggak sih, Cupop? Kamu jangan banyak tipu daya.
One song, and then I realized, wait, somebody put that together themselves.
Yeah, it's just Bruno Mars.
It's Bruno Mars. I should have known.
Contrary to popular belief, and just a quick palate cleanser from the draft, very intense, very quick. I think it's a great song. I think it's a well-written song. And I think just the way we listen to it over and over again might run it out.
Right now, as
Nah,
we
band
look
hero-hero
at the
kebelah
draft
aja
and
udah.
we
Claude,
reminisce about how great a
Irita
song
lah.
Apata is, I'm trying to determine who's dancing to whose tune right now in the draft. Is it Vamos dictating it secretly? Is BTK, with how fast they're picking, actually the ones dictating it?
I think Vamos has a song of their own. The fact that they went Glue Sicilian was a clear tell, because they don't care what BTK were doing. If BTK picks something that goes way into the back, that could have been something else besides the Hayabusa.
Nanti,
the
coach.
Alpha.
Oke.
If somehow was able to pick up a lane to find the Sicilian, sure, whatever.
Aku camkan kata-kata kamu ya.
Slightly going back to their
Cupopan
day
ya.
one, day two Swiss form. Is that just me? Except it's not a fighter, you know?
Well, I think it's a lot more refined this time around. They're not blind picking and trying to make hard reads on their opponents anymore. It's very responsive, right? You show the Jushi, and therefore you don't have to worry about Vexana or Farmus anymore. So now you can guarantee the glue after seeing the ban in that Hilda. So even if we do see Phobias later down the line,
Tahu orang like
we'll
coach.
be able to handle it. However,
Itu dong.
at the very
Itulah.
least, the quad ban is interesting because it's kind of treating this
Arlot.
as if it's a heave, you know? Don't let that backline
Beatrix dia masih bisa joy nggak sih lo? Dia masih bisa joy dah.
Alright, there's the Beatrix on the side of BTK.
So you have like a half answer to the backline. You just try to snipe it.
Yeah, a half answer. You know what a full answer might just be? If that's a projectile shooting gold laner for Vamos, run back an old Shark favorite. Put the Cho in the EXP and get the Lolita for Shark. It's a pick that has fallen out of favor greatly, and that might mean the center of the map might be a little bit difficult to control for BTK. But hey, it's an old poison.
And you have Shark's number 7. That's Shark's number 7 hero in M6.
And speaking of
Carmilla.
heroes, that's Carry, and it's the
Oh, Carmilla Cecil dia,
that
Cok.
Vamos brought out in the playoffs of MPL Malaysia.
Yep, they've done this in the regular season of MPL MY as well. It's going to make teamfights really annoying to deal with for BTK in particular, because now the real question is, do we want to kind of charge
Joy?
at Vamos?
Joy,
They
no?
can still technically lock in the high loss if they wanted to, but then it's kind of that toss-up of like, do you want to sacrifice the glue or do you want to sacrifice the chill? Either way, it's not going to be a good time.
Joy nggak sih?
Yeah, no, the high loss is a no-go here at this point.
Yeah.
The carry was ran into the high loss yesterday repeatedly by Nets, so you don't want to do that. I don't know, I'm 50-50 on the Lolita.
Nama Bajens nepi ka Swiss coach ayeuna.
Kai,
Lain jual ka Swiss. Swiss Stage namanya itu nama formatnya, bro. Bukan ke Swiss aja. Sama kayak si Indo kemarin. Ka Swissnya saya. Bukan di Swiss, bro. Ini nama format game apa? Nama format stage-nya Swiss. Ketemu semua. Kenapa tiba-tiba ke Swiss?
Thank you so much to our panel, and we are now finally about to enter the first series of the last day of the Swiss stage. As Brigitte and Mirko bring you the action. And I must say, I agree, this is probably a refined Team Vamos, but it's still Team Vamos.
Revive Team Vamos.
Listen, as long as Warlord gets an actual mid laner,
Get an actual
you know,
mid-laner.
he hasn't really been performing on the Gatot, the Khalids, but Warlord, he's known to do, I mean, make a lot of plays, especially on the Valentina. Now he gets himself on a carry, a Sicilian.
And I like how they're sticking with their signature picks and of course their identities, as this is a match
Orang mah yang
everyone is
Indo
definitely
stage
looking out
coach.
for. It is the clash of servers, ladies and
Kagak ada
gentlemen, and we
Indo
are now
stage.
about to enter the
Swiss
lands of
stage
Dawn.
teh
Let's see what
format yang
happens here
ketemu
because
semua,
Zorn,
bro.
he's clicking
Namanya
those
Swiss
calls
stage.
really early into the
Swiss
game, but
format deh
I
namanya,
must
Swiss
say,
format.
I am actually wondering about how the
Swiss
aggressive
format
duels
ada
will play
yang
out in the early game because this is a
double
semi
apa?
Carmilla. I know
Single
recent
elimination,
pieces
double
have been a
elimination,
little bit
itu
more aggressive
format,
in the
bro.
early stages, but
Lah,
against
mati.
this lineup,
Astaga, terejam Carmilla, cok. Pun
First blood for Zorn already.
Eta saha coach awalnya gelis.
That answers your question. You're down
Gawat juga
about the
elek sih,
Sicilian
cok.
and also the Carmilla. It's a great combo, Shark. Did a good job
Lihat
on
cewek
holding
sedikit
it in.
gelis,
And,
astaga.
you'll still be able to get Hoon those minions.
Bahaya itu.
Everyone, don't forget to check out the
Bahaya itu
M6
kalau
that's
ada
available
itu lagi
from
nanti
18th of
semua orang
November
ditutup dulu
up to
gambar
the
ceweknya.
29th of December. Complete all the active
Ngeri
tasks
nih,
during the event
Rodrigo
to
ini
reach
emang
level 75 for
nggak
free
bisa
with
lihat
all the
ini
amazing
sedikit
rewards,
makisnya dia.
including the battle emotes, the avatar borders, the special skins, and of course
Makisnya kan
Claw's
yang
M6
di Crow Zero.
exclusive skin and their
Makisnya dia,
prime
cok.
skin. You'll also get a chance to get the figurine you see in the panel desk later on when we head back. You can check it for yourselves. But for now, we'll be heading back into this game as well because after that kill onto Hoon,
Sama Terizla
this might
Gindang
just
ya?
be
Nggak
a
enak
game where
banget
they
sama
have to be
Terizla.
extra careful this time, especially as Chibi. It seems like he's on the hunt already for another kill.
Gak bisa mati ini
Zorn
Carmilla.
very, very aggressive. Aggressive start
Jadi
for
tarik-tarikin
Vamos here.
Cecil.
The fact that they have the Sicilian and Carmilla, we know the interaction that you have.
Baik atuh
with
coach,
additional
normal, aku mah
skills.
bukan normal, itu nafsu.
What I do want to talk about a little bit more is the fact that BTK have gone and opted to
Normal mah normal aja,
Terizla.
jangan
Yeah.
jadikan
Terizla
alasan
has actually been the counter
nafsu.
for the longest time towards the glue in the matchup, right? In the 1v1. And that's why you see the Festival of Blood here for Mr. Chicken. He wants to stay into fights a lot more, and he knows he's going to be able to outdamage the glue.
And it seems like we're about to see it for the first time. How are they going to play around all the AoEs that are possibly going to be present in the upcoming team fights? Because they're just holding on to the turtle, and we've seen Smooth perform on the glue as well yesterday. He
Oh, bisa
performed
ya?
so well, just keeping on interrupting all of the members, but it seems like Fried Chicken goes in first, but how do they
Nice.
respond?
Way the dragon, lock a GB
Oh,
down.
GG.
Great Lantern Flare. Mobazane still on the smooth, Retribution not
Aduh,
ready. Goes for the
ulti
spell,
kemana
set
mau
up
bah?
here and now.
Astaga, selesai.
The turtle gets knocked up. Curse of Blood knocking Hoon up. Now
Ulti kemana mau bah?
will be a trade, a kill for BTK for Vamos, who gets the turtle.
Piraku nanya kan jadi nafsu. Ya udah maaf dah. Ya udah maaf dah. Nggak kenal aku juga, ngapain? Coba mau kasih tahu ke kamu lagi pula. Nggak tahu itu siapa. Caster itu.
But now Shark definitely seems to want to go for the attempt. But there's another thing you have to consider if you are Shark in this game. Both Nets and Warlord, your primary targets, they're on Purify. So that might be quite a difficult job for Bloodthirsty Kings as well, especially as they haven't secured the best possible early game for their lineup.
It'll definitely be tough for BTK here, because for Vamos, all they need to do is
Terejam
take
Gindam,
the
coba mau basin
early
ulti
game,
ke
right?
sana.
As long as they're not too far behind, I would say, what, 3,000 gold behind is still actually okay for Vamos with this kind of composition. Because all they need to do
Terejam,
is
cok.
wait for the Sicilian and the carry to get to those item power spikes. Meanwhile, for BTK, like you said, it does rely on them getting the mid game a bit more compared to Vamos, or way more compared to Vamos.
Aduh,
So the fact that
semuanya
Vamos
kalah
is going
gini ya.
means it's a big
Cecil
win
Carmilla
for
sekuat
Vamos.
itu ya.
Yep, they don't get to
Pok nggak
entirely
sih?
interrupt like MOBA
Ah, bisa ya dipegang ya?
all the attention. We're literally seeing it here in the mid lane. It's
Baru
more
tahu
on
Carmilla
Shark
sekuat
and
itu.
Hoon versus Zorn and Warlord.
Kudunya
And it
kok
seems
atuh
like
coach
for
tahu sih
I
sebenarnya
don't
orang.
know how many times now another fight might be brewing here in the mid lane, but Fried Chicken seems to be able to poke Zorn so well now.
Negara mana wae itu ini ada tuh di atas gambar BTK, ini ada Amerika tuh. Di atas negaranya Vamos itu Malaysia, yang Vamos Malaysia ini. Yang BTK Amerika. Nice. Ya itu loh. Menang nih draftnya enak. Harusnya bisa pegang sungai sih ini BTK.
Talk about timings here. Just when we thought Team Vamos already got out of all the possible threats that could be brought.
Nah gitu loh BTK. Nice. Itu loh bro.
They're not stopping that fight. They're just proceeding with it and caught Team Vamos off guard, especially as both Zia and Fried Chicken, they were there, they were ready. Even Sorn, I feel, just weren't really able to expect all of that pressure, and he couldn't just go back in and use the Curse of Blood, knowing that he's so low on HP. But Shark, though, might find himself
Shark?
alone here and will be
Shark.
taken out.
Nice.
But there's the flicker and he will survive.
Dari tadi aja harusnya flickernya.
Respecting the damage from Team
Nggak
Vamos.
usah
Though.
tunggu sampai
That was
sekarang
a bit
dulu.
greedy from Shark trying to go for the purple buff steal, though it all actually almost worked out.
Yeah.
Chibi, 0-2 currently actually, yeah. Chicken
Ah,
poke quite a bit, has to use the DPZ, that's the defensive penalty zone to
Ini
escape.
Glue sekarang bisa pegangan sih
Vamos
emang.
are still scaling up quite well. Again, for BTK,
Pertanyaannya,
much bigger of a lead here to deal with
berarti
Vamos'
sekarang
mid-game
jangan
powers right
dulu
Yeah, I think
ngambil Zuxin, emang
the,
Zuxin sih agak trap
Aperture
sekarang ya.
that Chibi
Zayn.
mentioned earlier isn't really
Zayn.
working yet, but then we find Boba Zayn who's
Zayn,
very
astaga
tight
dia
on.
nyebrang
Team
begitu aja
Vamos
bro,
just take him out, but
jujur-jujuran.
I think there's a trade up top.
Mereka kan udah tau lah permainan di ASEAN, kalau di luar ASEAN gimana permainannya. Sebenarnya di luar ASEAN menurut orang beda sih. Kayak mereka mainnya lebih sistematis ke ininya, ke combo-komboannya. Ke combo-komboannya nih kayak gini nih, ini si Chow sama Beatrix. Terus Zuxin bisa dikomboin juga sama Chow. Intinya mereka combo-komboan biasanya. Tuh, mereka buka mapnya juga lebih rapih. Soalnya mereka tahu kalau main mekanik gitu kalah sama orang-orang di ASEAN, Indonesia, Filipina. Indonesia, Filipina lebih kuat, cok ininya. Lebih kuat mekaniknya, makanya Indonesia meta brawl disebutnya. Kalau selain Indonesia sama Filipina, biasanya mainnya di makro atau di strateginya mereka lah. Jadi mereka matengin strategi. Stratnya juga kayaknya di luar ASEAN lebih banyak sih. Hero-hero yang dipakai juga. Kadang nggak itu aja gitu. Kayak ini juga kan Amerika dia salah satu yang pakai Fredrin terus nih. Fredrinnya bagus banget. Gila Zia mati tapi sih dia. Ente. Tapi gila sih hampir wipe out match itu satu. Gelo Chibi. Nice. What the heck bro, Chibi sama Nets itu kalau wipe out sih selesai sih game. Itu nggak wipe out cok. Kalau wipe out selesai ini game.
Chibi, knowing all that they've lost, will just try to shove the top lane a little bit, but clearly BTK, they're taking control of the mid game right now against Team Vamos. So you would think that they
Tapi nih M6 sih jujur-jujuran tim-timnya nggak pada beda jauh ya. Tim-timnya nggak pada beda jauh, yang kayak GG, ada GG banget ada lah. RRQ sama Onyx PH itu kan sekarang. Tapi maksudnya sisa-sisanya kayak masih bisa ngelawan gitu. Bukannya kayak kalah banget juga. Kayak ini aja nggak beda jauh nih. BTK sama Famos nggak beda jauh. Mana Indonesia temain coach nggak sih ya bro? Udah ini bro, udah ini. Habis ini nanti ada tim Liquid di Indo nanti melawan Twisted Mind, lawan Arab. Nanti Indo lawan Arab habis ini. Indo lawan Arab habis ini bro.
They didn't attempt to do just that. It was more of like Fight Chicken. He also went in with the penalty zone, tried to separate the other members of Team Vamos, therefore rendering all of these possibilities impossible for them. But speaking of possibilities, there's the curse of blood. Doesn't hit much.
Nah, udah menang. Menang nggak sih? Damage mana nih? Si Zia-nya telat tuh. Susah sih tapi sih di sini emang Mobile Legends. Makanya di sini kayaknya nggak ya, udah alpha. Apa dia pick alpha ya? Dia pick apa? Udah ada Glue, udah ada Cecil. Gimana cara ke Cecil? Tapi kalau objektif sih emang cepet ya. Cuman begini nih, gampang dimakan, gampang diajam-ajam. Susah. Tadi sebelum objektif gimana sih? Mau ya prediksi coach menang bang Indo? Insya Allah bro. Prediksi mah kayaknya menang dah Indo. Indo jago. Harusnya sih menang ya. So far sih nggak jelek banget gitu. Malah RRQ kayaknya juara sih, salah satu yang
Spear
Bisa
of Alpha
juara tuh
defensively.
Araki.
White Chicken goes in, isolated himself, and Nets just disintegrates him on this carry.
They still get to take down the mid lane turret. And they still have the Lord as well. So they're
Sudah Lord
definitely
dia, Cok.
looking to take out more turrets from BTK,
Aduh, terkambak
especially
gara-gara
with
begitu.
White Chicken down right now. So there are lesser chances of them going for the counter engage. But speaking of, Shark, he might just not commit the way of the dragon. So now they gain access to the mid lane turret, but there's the Lord
Mantap coach, kurang cek kalau omongan si coach.
as well in the
Kenapa
bottom
tiba-tiba
lane.
dicek?
So at least they know that there are still possible
Ngeri
setups from
kia
BTK,
bro,
but let's
dicek
see
kalau
how
bro.
this goes.
Jangan
Because
gak
it
sih?
seems like their focus will just
Maaf.
be solely on the Lord.
They'll still be able to clear the Lord. It is Lord 1, but Vamos, to remind you guys back at home again, we've been saying this countless times. I'm starting to sound like a broken radio, but the fact that Vamos are not behind in the mid-game with a Sicilian and carry, this is great.
Ah,
for them.
susah tuh.
Almost connecting to Zia, but it's Rage not hitting any
Susah,
of the
Cok,
members.
Alpha di sini, aduh.
Vamos are happy with these trades. Even if they don't have a goalie, they're still happy at this moment.
BTK, all they really have to rely on at this point is the amount of wave clear that they have, because Team Vamos, they're just constantly putting out the pressure towards BTK. I wouldn't think that BTK, knowing that they have a lot of housekeeping to do, would be confident enough to look for an engage towards Team Vamos, especially considering all the available resources. Like we've seen earlier, Soren, he moves
kasih
fast
aja
on
juga
his
udah
own, but he
sakit
can
sini.
also get the passive,
Ya,
take
belum
advantage of
jadi
the passive to
makan
survive.
lah.
But speaking of
Oh,
the
bisa
damage
ding.
range,
Nice.
Whoa, that was a lot of damage. Sky Piercer for Hoon too.
Oh, Piercer ya.
You see that
Hoon.
execute. And I guess for Bloodthirsty Kings, you were talking about the damage, the wave clear they have, but also, I guess, the pick-off, right? That's something
Right.
that BTK can still bank on in a lot of these team fights. It's just, when you pick off, you can only really pick off the front line.
yeah.
Nets and Warlord, I don't think they can actually
Nice
get to
vision, bro.
them without getting the frontliners. So, again, Vamos are chill with it. They lose smooth. It's still a smooth game plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising to think that that's still smooth. I mean, it's one of the tankier heroes here for Team Vamos, but this just goes to show that BTK, they've already
Dia ngecek bus jauh.
gotten enough items, possibly for Z as well. They just need to be extra careful
Dia
in terms
cek
of
tuh
where
bus
they are
jauh.
going to position themselves, because Soren, he can really just catch them off guard anytime he wants. Cast the Curse of Blood, even just to make them move away or actually split up. And this is the important part. I know this is just the enhanced Lord that we're talking about, but it is very likely that either of these two teams who get their hands on this Lord will get their hands on the base turrets as well. And now it seems like Team Vamos,
Ini bakal
they're
tungguin
the
dulu
ones
alpanya
a little bit more
offset
confident
lagi
in
sih.
terms of
Alpanya
moving up
offset sekali
and
gitu.
scouting the
Hajar
members of
pasti.
BTK. But Smooth, he has to be mindful of all these pokes as well.
Oh, look at Chibi. Dealing with damage. Chibi, oh, all the way alone, but it's Rage.
Oh,
Chibi is down.
nice.
Isolated all the way now. Penalty zone from White Chicken.
Udah.
Hussein
Udah.
will not decide to go with the Spear of Alpha. It is a pure
Ah,
down for
aduh,
Warlord. Safe
susah
gets
banget.
covered. Sanguine Closet almost gets
Susah banget Alpha di sini.
deleted by
Pegang
Nets.
terus
And you can
sama
see the
Cecil.
damage output that is ready for Vamos. BTK with a one-member lead.
I mean, that could have been the difference maker, right? They could have just went straight after the Lord, but now that BTK, they're aware of the damage in the hands of Warlord, they still go for the Lord either way, but for Team Vamos, they have to be careful this time. Sword might be the next to fall. He gets to flicker, or he gets to use the passive to get away. But still, Team Vamos, it seems like they wanted to go for the attempt.
They definitely needed to, right?
Hapus
Again,
deh
they
tuh
have
coach,
the
nah
range to
lawan Johan
actually
Bator.
deal with BTK. It's just they just
Kamu
don't have
nanti
any
malam
ways to
mau main
Chibi
backward enggak?
played way
Habis ini
safer. This is within their power
nonton
strike. There
turnamen
is
dulu
no
biar
reason
pinter
for it to be
gitu. At least
flanking
main
like
biar
that,
nggak
especially
bodoh gitu kan.
considering he targeted Shark. You're not killing Shark. That's a toe roam.
I don't know if he
Kemarin
knew
orang
that there were
udah
other members
nanti
there, but
malam.
I think at this point
Nanti
it's
malam mau main
impossible to
Left 4 Dead
expect
nanti
Shark
malam.
to be alone. There will
Sama
always
bro,
be
bro.
someone out there waiting for the
Dengan
setups,
bro.
ready to provide the follow-ups.
Dengan
And
bro
now it's Team
Discord.
Vamos on the defensive side. BTK, they'll
Min
definitely
satu
take
nih, min
advantage of
satu.
this. Shark
Kemarin
might just be
kita
looking for a target. There's
main
still
Left
the
4
Curse
Dead
of Blood.
satunya
They can
bebat.
use that if they want to defend.
Komputer.
But they have to be mindful because the poke coming in from BTK, it's no joke at this point. At least they have Warlord, but then right now, BTK, they can definitely gain a lot more access to Team Vamos.
Aduh,
Now that
sakit
they're
banget.
in this position,
Ih,
but look at
kenapa
the
mau
damage.
sana, Cok?
Oh, that was a mistake from Zayn. The Spear of
Aduh.
Alpha to his demise.
Ini semua
And
banget
Team
ya.
Vamos are able to defend BTK. They'll have to move back. Both the junglers making crucial mistakes.
I don't know what's happening anymore. I mean, that Spear of Alpha might have been a misclick, or it maybe should have been towards the other members of BTK, right? There was no way they still wanted to go for the engage at that point, because the other members of Team Vamos, they were already chasing after them. Now, they gradually move out of their base and attempt to regain control of the map. And this is another thing we definitely have to look at. I mean, both of these teams, I would say they really would specialize in team fights when it comes to their overall compositions. It is just a matter of who will be able to disrupt the positionings a lot more. All of those team plays that may happen. And speaking of team plays, Food will fall.
Oh, you can hear Malaysia here in the M6 arena. They are going wild. Mobazane going to be stunned up. The bad impact as well. Two members of the Bloodthirsty Kings have been taken down, and Vamos have been able to neutralize the lead of turrets. The base turret in the far lane that BTK had to play with, now it is gone, and it might be the end for BTK in game one. Zia trying to go for the defense. Vamos have a wave in the mid lane. Mobazane trying to go for the cut right now. As Zia gets chunked low by the arrow, the Venom Rage comes down. Zorn will go in very deep.
Aduh, dia harusnya bom aja sih. Jujur-jujuran dia harusnya bom aja sih.
That's going to be the penalty zone onto all of them, but again it's Nets
Dia
who
harusnya bom
is
aja sih.
targeting the turret, the base down. Game one for Vamos.
Team fighting was all that mattered for Team Vamos. And they just had to wait for the perfect opportunity. Such a close fight, but at the very end, it's still Team Vamos who gets the game and secures the match point.
Match point for Team Vamos with a home ground advantage.
I need to hear our panelists' thoughts on this game. Let's throw it over to our panel.
That was dramatic, to say the least. Could have gone a different way, but hell, Vamos, great comeback, fantastic comeback by Team Vamos.
Aduh.
I don't know about that one. I felt like this
Terkumbang.
definitely was the dark side
Cok.
of the moon for both of these teams. Like, inconsistency definitely was showing. Vamos having a bit of an awkward, like, mid-game, even though BTK had that lead. And then that final, out of nowhere, Spear of Alpha into the base. I'm not sure what happened there.
Anticlimactic is the word I would use. The siege, the trade for that top
Aduh,
inhibitor
tercomeback,
on both sides
Cok.
of the map definitely felt like neither team saw that coming, and it was Vamos who went for the jugular, the opportunistic instinct in the hometown anti-heroes definitely made the difference here. And is it just me, or is it so evident that the mental is so important in this matchup?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that we really hyped up about these two teams, how well they can get into the heads of their whichever opponent you throw their way.
Or stay in their own.
That's the thing. I feel like at least when it comes down to their consistency, yes, they can have some of the highest highs and some of the most incredible plays in the world, but their lows look abysmal, especially when you've seen these
Oh,
highs.
tiba-tiba ada.
Like, as we go into this post game, the score is 8 to 8, 16 minutes. Tell me, Michael Bay,
Dang,
how
dang,
you feel
dang,
about
dang,
this.
dang,
It felt like it was a
dang.
game of punishing errors. One team sniffs an error, a little bit of an overstay, a little bit overextended, you're showing the wrong person, then anyone, it's usually Warlord and Sorn and Shark and White Chicken who immediately jumps on it.
And it's a miscalculation of damage incoming. And the worst part of this all is the mistakes that Vamos made aren't as capitalized by BTK compared to when BTK slipped up. It was lethal. I'm looking at the last 2 minutes here. I'm looking at, again, Mobazane using the Spear of Alpha into the full-on lineup of Vamos. And that one moment up top where Hoon did not see the pop coming from Warlord. Whatever it was, the Cyber Cauldron, the impact that took him out of the map, and suddenly BTK were down 2 men.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things can be hard analyzed in terms of these fights, but I think definitely both of these teams need to polish back up here. They need to pull out that brasso to give that a little bit of shine here, because as we saw in this game, BTK, honest to God, had a solid lead over Vamos, and it's very hard to let it go unless you make these kinds of mistakes. And the only way that Vamos had to, in a sense, recover is to make sure they take fights on off-tempo beats so they don't lose major objectives. And as you see in the gold, both Nets and as well as Chibi were trying to hold on so that the gold lead didn't run away too far.
To be fair, Vamos, it seems like with that early Sicilian pick, also picked a hero that would be great at punishing errors. That's one of the strengths of the Sicilian. His reach, his crowd control, and the burst in the latter portions of the game punish errors so well, and that's exactly what happened in the end there with the Spear of Alpha
be fair, the two players we haven't really mentioned much are the heroes in an island of their own, the players in the gold lane. Zia and Nets, they both built a Wind of Nature. And
Yes.
looking at both lineups, neither team have, in-your-face physical damage. For Zia, I'm guessing he knows that he's the linchpin of this lineup. He's saving himself from Chibi. Nets isn't going to find him. Nets is a much shorter range marksman. On the other hand, Nets looks at BTK's lineup and saying the same thing. None of y'all can find me, save for a snipe from Zia. So that's me looking at it and saying, yo, these gold laners did the job 100% correct. It's just the map setup wasn't there for them. And again, the punish.
Aduh.
Warlord. I think this was a nail in the coffin. The fact that this added that whole mechanic for Zorn to protect him gave Vamos one more life, one more strike, so to say. So for them, it's technically 4 strikes for out.
It is. Because again, the main issue with the lineup coming in from Vamos is if Warlord, our MVP, stands too close to Nets, it's a guaranteed engage specifically from Fly Chicken. That's why you don't see him using his flicker very generously in a lot of these fights and would rather just throw out the penalty zone because that's how important the battle spells
Kok curangin di villanya, like searching serangan lu biar gas. Cari sampai ujung dunia bro, kalau bisa. Jangan lepas tuh.
I just pick up my Carmilla real quick, throw him in front, drop that ult, and pray to God that you're able to walk away from that fight.
One thing I appreciated about this specific game, though, was that the trades that they were taking and finding leading up to the mid-game. It started with the fastest first blood in the tournament so far at around 35 seconds, set by Sorn onto Hoon in the mid lane, and then multiple trades. It's Shark, it's Chicken, it's Sword, it's Smooth, and it was just both teams playing around that, leading to the major objectives. That I appreciated. But then as it got longer, you see a little bit of a panic setting in, maybe a little bit over eagerness to find the right positioning. The best way to put it is they were living in their own heads rent-free.
That's actually a pretty good way of putting it, actually. Because as we see these teams continue to try and break each other down, a lot of it is going to come from where is their identity, right? And Vamos, they like to instigate these wars. They want to be able to say, hey, if we give you enough fuel, maybe we can turn this around with a singular cursed blood. And which is why you saw them fight heavily towards the jungle side and looking for these big choke points. Yes. But you also saw a lot of responsiveness coming in from Vamos as well because of how BTK was steadily and consistently gaining the lead on them.
All right, that's the story of game number 1, the analysis. Wait, you're already in your OG49?
I'm figuring out how that Spear of Alpha happened. I'm looking at like the space on my fingers, like on the beautiful 6.9 and change 165 hertz refresh rate display. Like I'm looking at like how that could have happened. I guess it's a heated battle. You did see that he was on point though. He did not miss a single beat with the refreshing response time. How he was able to like Winter Crown after. So you saw that he was still on point.
Yeah.
Like even if that was a slip up, like he thought he could have survived. So.
Harus tunggu game 2. Selama kayaknya.
Actually enjoy the strawberry flavor here and there, but my personal favorite is the white chocolate one. It's the white and blue box.
Oh yeah,
that's what I like. But this one's gonna do. So hope you don't mind.
Ooh, go. All right, maybe
Can I have my phone back?
maybe with Hello Panda, I'm gonna do the magic trick a bit better.
No, you can't do it backwards. Please don't.
Yeah.
Give me my
ROG
phone.
Phone 9 Pro, baby.
Give me my phone.
And Hello Panda.
ROG games this thing. Give me my phone back.
I don't know. That ad spiel is one of the most dangerous ones I've seen so far. We pushed the line, but man, God dang.
I'm running out of time to potentially win an ROG Phone 9, man. I'm bringing out all the stops. All right. Hello Panda, fuel your game with Hello Panda crunchy biscuits filled with creamy chocolate, the ultimate snack to keep you energized. That's why we got a little bit, a little bit more energized. We're a little bit peppier now thanks to Hello Panda. Level up your day and visit Hello Panda's website for more. We're having a Hello Panda mukbang right here. Excuse me. I love it. Hopefully we get to see more flavors as it goes on, because we already have we already got 2. Hopefully we get others. We were just told to not finish it now. We know there's more. Don't keep it from us. And of course, we have a lot more for you. From November 18th to December 29th, participate in the M6 Lucky Gift. Join the draw for a chance to win Claude's new Epic Skin Challenger's Flare and Beatrix's new M4 Epic Painted Skin Light Seeker. Don't miss this rare opportunity to get Beatrix's M4 Exclusive and M4 Prime skins returning for a limited time. It's a throwback. There's a lot of goodies every time we have the World Championship happening. So it's all good.
Talking about a throwback. Sorry, I just could not let this go. They changed the formula on the Hello Panda strawberries.
Oh, yeah, they
I
do.
remember as a child not being so fond of it, but now I can't get enough.
It's actually so much better
Yeah,
now.
when you were still a kid just like 3 years ago.
Dude, come on. 10 years ago. Come on.
Okay.
I was a wee little boy of 12.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, I have to talk about this upcoming game, especially after you mentioned about the Beatrix's M4 exclusive and Prime skins. Again, Beatrix has been one of the few picks that has been reliably gone to for each gold laner, especially when Bruno is, well, either out of the meta or too strong in the meta.
Yeah.
For 3 years now.
For 3 years.
Beatrix has been a known element for 3 years now.
And just consistent. I think it's because of how many tools you have in your arsenal. Literally, it's built into your kit. Short range, mid range, long range, basic attack lockdown. Add to that Malefic Gun.
And a dash.
And a dash. And Malefic Gun that being the item of the tournament right now. The only thing that will make Beatrix even more broken is if they somehow turn her dash into a sliding tackle reload. But hopefully we won't get that far. Let's hear now from a key player from BTK, their mid laner, it's Hoon. And we asked him about, well, the lessons they learned from Fnatic Onyx Philippines. The biggest takeaway from playing against FNOP was their mentality. This is what we're talking about. Losing the second game couldn't have been easy, yet they managed to bounce back. Let's see if they have learned that lesson from FNOP and bounce back.
Well, I think it's a really interesting sentiment here, right? Because they could have talked about anything. It could have been draft. It could have been like the way they play the micro mechanics. It could have been how they team fight. But they specifically talked about mentality. And this is something that I've been hearing consistently about NA teams. When they tilt, it's basically game over. It brings on the entire team's momentum, which is interesting because Vamos is in a very similar mentality as well. If things start going badly, how do you recover? And I think for NA teams, this has been a long time coming for them to beat this plateau, to reach this new height.
It's sort of like these two. It'll be a story about belief. Who believes harder? Who believes that they can win way better? Who can win faster? It's just all about mentality. But as I say that, again, our analysis for game number 1 was filled with stuff that wasn't related to mentality anymore. Or was it? Do you think some of the mistakes that they showed in-game, that's over-eagerness or overzealousness starting to creep in?
I don't believe it. I know it. And that's what makes it all the more crucial. The fact that you can see it clearly on stage, you can see it in their gameplay, and in the draft, I think this is where we'll see if the past 10 minutes between Red Marlon Naruto, Phone Magic, and us enjoying the new flavor Hello Panda bestowed onto us in the desk is enough time for BTK to reset, because Vamos, for them, specifically Smooth, who I said prior to the match starting is just always chill. That's them. That's all 5 of them. They're just waiting for this match to start. And I'm on the edge of my seat for BTK. I can't even sit. I'm literally on my feet right now.
I mean, you may be on your feet, but I think for Smooth, he gives this very similar face of like, oh, nothing is ever going to phase him. But this is actually extremely important to him. I mentioned before, he has never made it past the group stages, if yet alone touch the knockout rounds. So many times denied, so many times dealt a bad hand and only getting second place.
And right now, he's 1 game away from coming up. one more game, Smooth. Smooth. Alamac.
Maybe with everything going quite rough in this series, you just
Ah,
need
udah nggak
someone
draft
to
lagi.
smooth things out and be the key to getting
Udah
that
draft, bro.
victory. Game number 2, potentially the last one in this Vamos versus BTK hype match. Similar bans, except this time, respect onto the glue from BTK, and the Hayabusa is now left open as they made it a Hilda ban instead.
Interesting. Maybe the adaptations from BTK side is saying, hey, glue is too big of a problem. At the very least, if you are looking for those big set heroes like Rizla, I need to be able to move out of the lane, and dealing with these glue stacks that slow me down midway through the river is too much of a hindrance for me to be actually impactful.
Vamos can just run it back, go for the blue yo. But here's where my mind is going, right? While we're waiting for this first pick. BTK is currently #1, tied with Twisted Minds for most unique heroes picked in the Swiss. 21 unique heroes over what? Now 9 games so far? With these weird picks coming out, these weird bans that's leaving out open the meta, maybe it's time for BTK to dig deep. Like whatever they have, left in the tank.
I mean, there's got to be some logic to it, right? What are they missing in their toolbox? And in the previous game, I don't think they were missing anything. They were playing. It was just coming down to 1 or 2 bad decisions, right? You need to be able to maintain pressure, especially if you are playing an Alpha into the CEO matchup. And as expected, Alpha has been shown on top of the Cho.
All right. Allow me to speculate. This early Mobazane pick tells me it's Mobazane saying, you know what, let me go again, I'll do it better.
Cecil tapi masih bisa.
Yeah, let's see if we can actually back that up. If that is the fact of the
Cecil
theory on the
Cecil
table,
Crowley.
BTK's pregame ritual, here's a fun fact, includes listening to a
Cecil
special
Crowley
rendition
juga
of
masih bisa.
10 more minutes by Shark. Why do I just imagine the 4 members of BTK plus Coach Pika Diff just sitting around Shark and just going, Shark, please sing
Cecil
for us.
Crowley kan?
And then he
Selesai.
just goes ahead and does it.
Honestly, I would think that would be kind of funny because Shark has one of the lowest tone voices I've ever heard in my life. But once again, we are seeing the Sicilian as well as the Carmilla being shown. We might just get the exact same draft, the only change being in that glue.
Let's see. Vamos instantly locking in their combo. It's like if it was BTK locking in the alpha early, saying, "Hey, we can do it again." Vamos is them saying, like, "Yeah, we're in their heads. We can definitely do this again." It feels like one of those picks where it was suddenly Sorn.
Cloud aja udah, ambil saja Cloud udah.
Do they go Eve here? So it's
Cloud aja
easier
udah,
for
Cloud aja,
BTK to
jadi
reach
Cloud
the
aja.
back?
Even when others were
It's a Valentina.
Aduh.
Oh, no, it's a Vex.
Vex, yeah. Go for Vexana instead of the stoppers. I would have liked the
Oh,
Eve,
udah
but a part of
Cloud
me
guys.
thinks like they maybe were hesitant about it
Udah ya
because of
Cloud
how
bro.
Carmilla and Sicilian can easily just break that formation. And at the same time, they like fighting under that formation. You see the Eve, well, you bring down the Curse of Blood.
And you're forced to move out.
And you're forced to move out.
That's fair, but I do think it's more so of the relationship between Sharkin as well as Hoon. In that mid game, we saw that Hoon was kind of left alone to kind of clear the waves by himself. And now with Vexana, he can do that in a blink of an eye, right? And that means that Shark isn't tied down to just hovering around the mid lane.
So you go by, BTK's initial plan in game 1, go fast and furious. They weren't going as fast.
Yeah.
They were definitely furious.
And BTK, with them picking up the Vexana, we saw it in that one series that BTK played up against Falcon.
Oh, they know.
It's like they want, just go ahead, pick up the glue. We have the Vexana with us.
Pop you.
Yeah. So if Vamos goes glue here, they might be playing into the trap. If Vamos ends up doesn't pick up the glue anyway, it's like the Vexanas will be somewhat diminished, but it'll still be a great pick overall because of what Gideon mentioned in what they can do in the center of the map with faster rotations. Gold laners, Bruno gone. The Beatrix Granger is still available for Zia. Excuse me. Yes, still.
So they can ban Granger, put the Zia back on the Beatrix.
Yeah.
I suppose, but then you have that big issue of, if I need to push you all the way up into your inhibitors, Granger isn't that guy who's like, I can take out structures in like 2 hits. No, he's more so, I want you to sit underneath your structures and I'll put your life to 1% to make you recall early.
Yeah, so I think it's unanimous. Beatrix would rather be the pick here for BTK.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've already got the pickoffs and, ooh, Gatard.
All right, Gatot usually just show. It's usually a tell of a team playing around their gold laner. You're probably going to end up with someone who isn't that mobile, so that's why my head is just constantly leaning towards to what we mentioned before. It's probably a Beatrix, isn't it? And if it's not a Bea, it's a Granger.
Bay or Granger, that seems to be the trade. Both teams understand that. Is there room in Vamos for a Hylos so they can easily close the gap? That seems scary to me. A ridiculous combo if you go Hylos Granger for the Vamos
Wow, udah
closers.
irit.
If
Down.
possible, I'd rather they get Khalid instead of the Hylos. The Hylos is a bit too honest in my book. The Khalid,
I think if the problem is that they're on red side. They only get one prio pick after the bans are done. They get rid of the Arlet, same exact bans coming up for the side of Vamos. If they go for Beatrix here instead of going for something like the Khalid or even the Hylos or the Qatar, at this point, at the bare minimum, if they do give that over to Vamos' side, they have some form of disengage on top of high ground defense. So, hey, drop the Bennett's Rage and be like, all right, we're out of here.
see which trade they end up going for. Lots of options for both. That choke can still
yeah,
end
man.
up going to the EXP lane.
Granger
But
kah?
if ever they might play for that flex for last and then just pick their gold laner now, and they end up picking the Granger instead of the Beatrix. So that was one of the two options that we mentioned anyway.
At least the adjustment this time is to say, hey, Sicilion, if you are going to go for Purify, once again, that's totally fine with us. We're just going to skill shot you down so you're out of the fight.
So if that's the case, are they just going to default back into the Rizla for Fried Chicken?
I feel like they are, but that's why they want this very last pick to be a bit of a toss of the die, right? Because Vamos must reveal first, and if they go blind and say, if you're going to go to Rizla, I'm going to play X-Borg, they can still adjust.
Oh, that X-Borg would be nasty with
Khalid
Vamos
di trade
can't so
bagus.
easily do that.
Yeah. All right.
Leaves BTK here with the final say. So do they Beatrix? I think that's the next safest.
Yeah,
the
next
Beatrix Granger trade.
Yeah, 100%. They want to be super team fight heavy and get a good mix up with the Carmilla. They can go for something more unique like an Irithel.
Aduh, Irithel bagus lagi.
Good call on the Irithel. I mean, really great lane matchup here because, again, the movement speed is going to be nice, and it really makes Granger's life a little difficult having to kind of position himself in a straight line against this Irithel who kind of runs
Arahnya harus
around you.
lurus banget
But
itu.
the high loss is where I'm a little scared.
I actually like it. You mentioned how honest it is. Honesty sometimes is the best policy, you know? If you need to disengage, backwards, glorious pathway. If you need to stop the Granger in its tracks, force the Vixana to commit to a certain zone, drop it forward.
And this, the front to back of Vamos looks like a honeypot. Oh, is a honeypot because again, Curse of Blood is active for them, and that's the kicker. It's front to back. It's honest with a little bit of spicy dishonesty, you know.
It's sticky.
It's sticky. Yeah.
Spicy dishonesty, I love that. But now Phoveus is
Oh,
going to get
Veus ya
There's not
guys
too
ya.
many dashes
Aduh,
on the
sudah
side of
sih.
Vamos, not too many procs, so Chicken, he's going to have to play a very clean game.
And this might be the Phoveus game of a lifetime coming in from Fried Chicken. That's what it feels like. Potentially the last game in BTK versus Vamos. Mirko,
ada
bring it, lead the last.
Not too many procs, so Chicken, he's going to have to play a
Matilda,
very
Cok,
clean
Matilda.
game.
Udah,
And this might be the
coba
Phoveus
ya.
game of a lifetime.
Pokoknya Matilda
Of a
apa?
maxed out 3-series game, but I'm not so sure if Vamos will let that happen since it seemed like they're pretty confident
Matilda
with their
apa?
game 1 lineup and they're showing a very similar pattern heading into game number 2.
Hey, man. Viewers back at home might want a full best of 3, but the people here in the arena, they want a clean sweep. Vamos 1-0 up on the Bloodthirsty Kings, and BTK, this is proving grounds for them. Can they walk the talk?
This is match point for Team Vamos, and they will definitely want to end this with a ticket to the knockout stage. Welcome to game number 2, and we'll finally see what are the adjustments that'll be shown to us by BTK this time around. I like what our panel mentioned about Team Vamos and their lineup being very honest, and for BTK, I think they just really need to approach it differently this time. They should be a little more coordinated in terms of their targets. It will be a struggle to constantly look out and pick off Zorn, considering the passive of Warlord, but I think that's one of the best ways to go around this entire composition of Team Vamos. You have to at least take out the threat of the Curse of Blood so you could operate freely when there's a team fight.
Yeah, they also need to just have more prio on the neutral objectives and secure
tenang
neutral
dulu
objectives
lagi.
early,
Tenang
right?
banget ya,
The biggest
Warlord.
problem for
Assassin.
BTK in game number 1 was the fact that they weren't able to get a gold lead at the start of the game. That's a Master Assassin, by the way, for the Irithel. Great call from Renmar earlier. And yes, this Irithel is actually a pretty good way to match up against the Granger in lane. You can see Shark walking up. Nets will purify out. But man, that's a lot of damage. Concussive Blast from Shark. doing a lot. Nets has regen though, should still be safe.
Could we say right now that BTK have realized now we don't want to really fight the mid duos as much anymore. We want to rotate a little bit more towards the side lanes so we can split up or spread out the attention, because it seemed like it worked well for Team Vamos when they were able to like just tell the members of BTK to, now let's just fight constantly here in the mid lane and let our side lanes do their own thing, because it didn't work well earlier for Team Vamos. So now it seems like BTK, they're clearly showing us some adjustments here in the early game.
Okay, Shark will be clearing out the mid lane. Warlord level 4 on a signature pick, at least back when he was in MDL RQ Senna. Shark trying to deal with Warlord here, baits out the Bat Feast. It will be a stun over to Mobazane. Chibi looking for a Spear of Alpha defensively. They've conceded it over. Chibi wins it out. Eternal Guard not connecting. Fly Chicken goes for the procs, and again it's Vamos who secured the first turtle of the game. BTK pushed back to their own jungle.
And Sword was the only one who zoned out Mobazane. Like, he was enough just so Mobazane couldn't actually penetrate that turtle pit. And we might just be able to pose the question of, wait, all right, Nets will be able to survive that, but he will have the Purify in a bit. And going back, could this really be the way to go for BTK? I mean, we know that they constantly play around Mobazane, but you just lose a bit of attention towards Mobazane and how secure his farming is. These things happen. Deathly grabs to save him a bit, but Shark with a counter set up.
Yep, with the Dragon, but it gets pulled back. Now Zane is caught in the midst of it all. The Curse of Blood connects onto 3. Chicken the bouncing damage. He goes in for the Infernal Pursuit, but Warlord shows exactly why he is named a Warlord. He goes in and gets 2 kills at the start.
That is so unfortunate. Just when BTK attempted to commit it all, the Curse of Blood, the Battle Pack, everything was ready from Team Vamos. And not to mention how Chibi nearly goes unnoticed whenever there's a team fight. There's so much attention on denying all those potential setups here from Team Vamos. And that was a quick punish as well. Just when Shark thought that he could have had his hands on an ideal setup on the way of the Dragon, BTK need to be extra careful from this point onwards. I don't think it's nice to see them kind of be affected by the pressure.
They're definitely affected by the pressure here. Vamos are so good at playing the mental game. On the other hand, right? It's almost like mentality. When it comes to just mentalities, it's Vamos all the way. It's uno, dos, tres, hala, Vamos. 1.6k gold lead with a composition again, just like in game 1, that should be losing in the start of the game, should be winning after the power spike. And Bloodthirsty Kings now, they're going to have to be very, very careful, like you said. But I think careful isn't really the word that they need to utilize now. Like, the word and the action that they need to utilize isn't careful. They got to go and fight. They got to go and take the gold lead back. Because if they don't, Vamos are just going to steamroll through BTK.
Yeah, and I mean, they can do it as much as they want, right? Their lineup right now, it's so chaotic. We haven't even seen Nets participate in the team fights as much, but Shark definitely looking for his own target, where Warlord keeps himself safe. And look at just how they're able to manage all the threats coming in from Shark and also securing the turtle while they're at it.
Shark is down. The Spear of Alpha from Mobazane was used defensively, and you can see the crowd go, wow, no! A pullback! What happened to who's HP bar? Curse of Blood onto 2. Zor with a petrifying Warlord pulls him back. Now Nets is gunning them down, forcing Zane to use the Spear of Alpha defensively again. Chibi in the back, going for the stun. Now off the Zia, forcing to flicker out. Mobazane unable to dish out damage. Chicken's running smooth down, and now he goes in for the Infernal Pursuit. Will be able to find a kill, but a turret in the mid lane will fall, and Vamos takes it on. Chicken getting zoned away. Warlord, 5 minutes in, doing this much damage already.
A mid lane turret in 5 minutes. That's how focused Team Vamos were in the mid rotations and the mid duos here of Bloodthirsty Kings, and it seemed like they denied them so much, even of their own intentions of wanting to rotate out of the mid lane, because they had to constantly defend the pressure that was being put towards the mid lane. But right now, Nets might just be a target. There's a Purify as well, and he will make it out alive, not unless... Okay, he makes it out alive.
Divine intervention, Nets gets away. Chibi goes in deep. Shark has been slain. Chibi is trying to look for another kill, now jumping forward. Soul Sever ready, Sia stunned in. Chibi will get the kill to double, and smooth Alamak with the turret tank up.
7-1 is the kill score you're seeing right now. Team Vamos being very dominant in the first 6 minutes of the game. I mean, look at the goal differences already, especially in terms of the mid lane. This isn't the best situation we've seen for Hoon. He's been denied 2 games in a row.
It's the best situation for Vamos. Zayn caught on the Sanguine Claws again, and man, Sanguine Claws and Bad Impact should not deal that much damage in the first 6 minutes of the game. That in itself is already going to be really tough for BTK. They're relying heavily on their frontliners to get in there and dive in. And Team Vamos are not letting that happen. 3 neutral objective takes for the Sicilian, who needs to be the one scaling. BTK, now they're in the thick of it all.
Yeah, at this point, they just really have to go for the trades. It's the most they can do, especially considering that even in the very brief moments you decide to show up, Team Vamos, they wouldn't think twice about dealing the damage. You would expect BTK to throw out just the same amount of poke. They have the Granger in their hands, they have the Big Sana, but it seems a little difficult for them to just throw out all the damage, especially considering when their frontliners decide to engage. It seems like there's no backing out. That's a huge difference in terms of Team Vamos and BTK's lineup. Team Vamos, at least they have the Moonlit Walls, they have the passive, and they have the Glorious Pathway to get away whenever things just don't go their way. But BTK, it's a different story. Once they commit, there's almost no way out, especially considering the mobility that Team Vamos has in their hands.
Now they're just waiting for the late game, right? It's getting to a point where BTK are the ones waiting for late game. And I don't know, I feel like for Vamos, they're like, sure, we can play for the late game. If you want to play for late, it's all right, man. We're just going to play it slow, farm up again, Warlord stacking up like an absolute beast. So there's no real worry for Vamos at this point. It is all on BTK, the pressure, the game, everything. Warlord gets another there, and I'm really curious to see at 8 minutes how many stacks Mr. Warlord has on the Sicilian.
Yeah.
Because it's a 5,000 gold lead, and Warlord's doing so much damage. That's another free turret down below. BTK are just constantly forced to give away these neutral objectives, give away even structures. 8 minutes in, down to just the tier 2 in the mid lane and up top.
Untuk
It'll be a
8
trade at
menit.
least once
There you
every
go.
178
I
nih
don't
stock.
think it's
It's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy.
It's pretty okay. It's like,
but I mean,
all right.
it's 8 minutes. We're 8 minutes into the game, but there have been a lot of team fights, I'd say. And another thing is, probably I'm also curious as to whether we'll be seeing Warlord and Zorn not together at all in this entire game. But Nets, early pickup on the Malefic gun. So talk about mobility, talk about range.
Yeah.
Team Vamos, it seems like they're well equipped to face whatever potential team fight we'll be seeing in the next few minutes.
And that was just Vamos who are going to control the
Irita
neutral
lagi.
objective. Again,
Harusnya
BTK
Irita
don't really have an
yang
entry
dipilih sama BT.
point over here. Oh, Warlord is just chunking White Chicken down. It's a tier 1 for a Lord. Not a good trade, but the only trade that BTK can get right now. Zayn forced to S. Spear of Alpha. Backwards. Nets gets a turret up top too. BTK are just down to their base turrets in both side lanes now.
BTK though, how could they defend all of this? Because Momo they decide to go in and he's just bursted down like that by Team Vamos.
And Smooth makes a line for BTK to stay behind. Now you can see the recalls from Vamos. The easy server are roaring in Malaysia.
They actually formed the V in Vamos before they spammed all those recalls. And they're just simply waiting for this Lord that they took in their hands. The lane equilibrium isn't that great, so BTK, they might find some ways to deal with this, but I don't know. Just look at the amount of damage Team Vamos is able to throw out, but Nets uses the heavy crossbow to get away, but Shark is punished by Team Vamos way before the Lord even gets to the base of BTK.
The Bloodthirsty Kings are down to their last set of turrets. A holy defense stands in the way of Vamos. But what's that to Warlord, who's fully stacked up? Smooth goes able to revitalize as well. Zone in the back line now. That's going to be Smooth taking a lot of hits. The Lord will be able to get into the vicinity of the turret. Zia goes in for some clear. Not the fastest of clear. The turret will be taken down in the mid lane. And the bottom lane should follow next. Nets. Heavy crossbow to take it down. And Vamos say, we're good, we're happy. Now we will prolong your suffering.
And that's a great showing of discipline from Team Vamos because BTK clearly, they were ready to go. They were ready to look for a target. That was a concealed play used by Shark, who currently is standing on a 0-3, and that is not a great sign, especially if you aren't able to get the necessary trades out of it. So we're looking at an 8K gold lead. in favor of Team Vamos, which is all the more reason for them to just hold on to this lead. They don't need to do anything crazy. They just need to play this by the book because BTK, they're the ones who have to find a way to deal with all this pressure. We've seen them struggle in terms of wave clear earlier, so the second time that Team Vamos gets their hands on an objective, wait.
How do they do it though, right? If there is a possible comeback angle, though it is like what, very low at this point.
Yeah.
Kalau
What do
dapat
they have to
chibi
do
sekali
to
sih
make that happen? I
bisa
don't know.
balik
Vamos,
sih
they
harusnya.
just look too clean in their composition with a lead like this. Looks a bit too impossible to make even a mistake happen, you know?
Yeah, even if Shark decides to go for a pickoff, like Zia would probably have enough damage by now, but that doesn't entirely mean that you would get the upper hand in terms of the team fight. You would still waste resources just to take a single pickoff against Team Vamos. And by the time they know that, they have a lot of ways to counter it. Speaking of, Shark hasn't even had his hands on a setup yet. He can make it fun right
Aduh.
away.
Shark is down, Hoon is down, Chicken. Caught on the Sanguine Claws, Moba Zane chased down Chibi. Gets the double. Now it's Moba Zane who's caught again. Has a Spear of Alpha to walk away. They want to go for the end. Zia dashing backwards. BTK on the brink of elimination. Uno, dos, tres. Vamos say adios to BTK.
The retribution arc continues for the hometown villains now turned heroes. Vamos indeed for Team Vamos.
Gila, seru banget, Cok.
In the home crowd, the taunt. It is fire. Straight up fire on stage. Walking from one side to the other in front of the man who called them the easy server. Vamos are the ones to eliminate the bloodthirsty Kings and their phenomenal run in the Swiss stage.
The clash of servers took an unexpected turn.
Ah, sih.
It was a one-sided series
What the heck, bro?
for Team Vamos. Let's head over to our panel and have them break down that series for all of us.
Revenge is a dish best served at home. Malaysia, let the world hear your support for Vamos! Congratulations to the team that for the longest time has been hunted by NA. And the region hunted by NA. Here they are sweeping BTK. What a win for Malaysia, locking in their first representative in the knockout stages.
It's a new day. Yes, it is. 2 years that it was NA who kicked out Malaysia, who made them suffer and miss out on the knockouts. Now here in 2024 in the M6 World Championships, the script is flipped. Did I not say it's time for Smooth to taste the knockouts?
It feels good. It feels good on a couple of levels. Yes, revenge is best served at home, but at the same time, at the very least, my heart goes out. Sympathies and empathies towards BTK side. They've worked real hard to get to this point, and honestly, especially when it comes down to an M series, it just stings a little bit more. But as you mentioned, this is a very incredible moment for Team Vamos, especially for one of my favorite EXP laners, Smooth. This is going to be an achievement in his book. I can't wait for this interview to come by, honestly.
Lord Smooth.
Lord Smooth.
Lord Smooth is back. Thank you once again to BTK and ACT in the region of North America for showing up once again for another M series. But now it is time for Malaysia and Vamos to taste sweet victory. Let's go onto the stage with Rose. But first, here's BTK.
From the other side of the world, Captain America has led this familiar team to a dramatic comeback in the international scene. Their presence alone in the M6 has made competition extra competitive. It is, however, the end of their quest to be greater than ever. Game's never over for Bloodthirsty King. And guys, on a count of 3, you guys may give your final bow. 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Bloodthirsty King, we hope to see you guys come back stronger next year. Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope to see you guys again soon. And the first Malaysian team heading on to the knockout stages. Malaysia, give it up for Team Vamos, Chibi. Hi, Chibi. How are you?
I'm fine, good.
You're fine? Are you nervous? Was today nerve-wracking for you?
Ya, nervous jugalah.
Nervous. You're also
Kemas
quite-
cakap bahasa Melayu boleh?
You can answer in Malay. Okay, so he said he is a little bit nervous. Okay, Chibi, after this win, does it mean, what does it mean for Malaysia server?
Ya, tapi Mobazing yang noob tadi, bukan yang tim dia. Mobazing yang beban tadi. Kalau Mobazing tak beban, tim dah menang lah.
Okay, guys, honestly, I don't really want to translate this, but you know, he kind of said it. He said, in his opinion, he thinks it wasn't the team's fault. He said he thinks it's Mobazane's fault. That's what, okay, I'm just gonna not sugarcoat it because my job is to translate it. Now, okay, Chibi, just last year, NA team was the one that sent you guys home from your M5 journey. They were the reason why you guys couldn't go to the knockout stages. This time, do you feel like you finally gotten your revenge on the NA team?
First kali saya rasa puas lah sebab saya boleh balas dendam. Balas dendam yang di mana diorang pun tak lepas playoff. So balas dendam tu sama, so saya happy lah.
He said he feels satisfied that this time he's the reason why NA couldn't pass through the knockout stages because if you guys remember, last year NA team was the one that sent them home from their M5 journey. So you feel satisfied this time around?
Apa dia?
Are you feeling satisfied?
Tak faham.
Awak rasa puas ke?
Puas.
Puas sangat. Okay, sorry. I think we can see that he's a bit nervous. Okay, now Chibi, I heard, just an intel to make everything more fun. I heard that you have a pre-game ritual. Before you play, you always listen to songs from Rose. Not from me, but Rose. What song do you always listen to?
Gun.
Can you maybe sing a bit?
Cannot.
Cannot?
Cannot.
I want to hear just a bit. Just a bit. Come on.